A lot of people are joining the previous sessions link actually. So just give me 1 second. I'll put it in that chat to join over here.
Hello everyone. Guna, can you see my screen?
Yes, Anand.
Recording started now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, hello guys, welcome to Android Study Jam session 3. So, it's really good to see you back here. Uh, First few ground rules, please don't spam in the comment section. We have Manik Malhotra, he will be going to address your doubts and reply to it. So, only put the doubts and don't spam there. Okay? And if you hadn't yet, please join the Slido with the link provided. We'll be taking up some polls in it as beforehand. So that's all right. And and I actually told you to complete these pathways 1 to 4. So it's been 2 weeks after commencement of the first session. I really don't think you should have got any problem into it. So let me just put a poll and to check how many of you did it or not. Okay, so I'm launching the first poll. Please go and answer it. It's about completion of Unit 1, Pathway 1. Pathway 1 means Android Basics Introduction to Kotlin. This one you have completed fully or not? Just go and answer that. So 50% saying that not started. Wow, that's sad actually. But it's all right. You can do whenever you get free time. So half people have done it, half people didn't. So let me just close this and answer the next poll. Next poll. It's about the Unit 1, Pathway 2. Pathway 2 is creating your first Android app. In that you actually have to set up your Android application and that's all. Means Android Studio ID you have to set up only. Go and answer that. Again, so 50%, 50% like that. All right. So I'm actually closing this poll. Okay, 40%, 60%. Okay. So now what about Unit 1, Pathway 3? Pathway 3 is about the birthday card app, in which we have actually had two text view, one image view. That's Android Basics build a basic layout. So please go and answer that. So okay, the person is decreasing. It's like 35, 60, 40, 60. All right. Means half people did it, half people didn't. Okay. What about the last one? The last one is Unit 1, Pathway 4, in which you actually have to build the dice roller app. This one majority people didn't. Okay, as expected. So yeah, okay. I'm closing all these polls. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually in this all these pathways. You have to actually have a quiz. You have to submit the quiz to get the badge. So let me just discuss the quiz. If you didn't solve yet, maybe you can just listen to them now. But try to not memorize the solution and try to attend that fresh. Okay. So this is the quiz of Unit 1, Pathway 1. In that, the first question is, wait, let me zoom in. So the first question is, what is a program? A specific task, a tool that help to write Kotlin code, a series of instructions that a computer system executes to accomplish some action. And the answer is yes, a series of instructions that a computer system executes to accomplish some action. Let's go to the next question. Which keyword do you use to define a function in Kotlin? Every function starts with the word fun in Kotlin. Okay. The next question, which of the following do you need to create a Kotlin program that prints a line of text? So how many you have to choose as many as it fits. So yeah, we need a main function. We need a closing enclosed brackets, curly braces to enclose the function. We need to print a line of text. So we need to actually have a print a println function, and also you need to have some text around it. So you need to choose these four options. Okay. Now it says, what do you expect this Kotlin code to do? So in this, you can actually see println. So there are actually two lines. So it will the answer will be print two lines of text. The next thing is how would you modify this main function so that it prints a 6-layer cake to someone's 4th birthday. So age will be 4, layers will be 6, and both should be integer. So the answer should be this one: set value as to 4, value as to 6. If you see the second option, it's actually string. This 4 and 6 are string, but in here they are represented as integers. So you have to choose the integers one, not the strings one. All right. And the last one is which of these options correctly call the function below and passes it valid input arguments. So you can see the parameters are name string, location string, age int. All right. So there are two strings and the third one is int. So you need to choose which have two strings and one integer, and which is actually this first one. This string, and this is integer. This is actually string in string. This is not a string. For string you need to enclose in the opening codes, enclose in the codes. All right. So these are the 6 questions you need to submit successfully to pass this pathway and get the badge. All right. Now let me discuss about the next pathway, that's pathway 2. So pathway 2, the first question is, what does ID stand for? So ID stands for integrated development environment. All right. The next question is, which of the following are advantages of using Android Studio? It can help prevent typos and other mistakes in your code. Yeah, it actually helps us to prevent typos or anything else in our code. It has a really smart compiler. The next is, it comes with a virtual device called an emulator that can run your app. Obviously, it comes with an emulator. If we don't have any physical device, we can run the app in the virtual device. The next thing is, it can show you a real-time preview of how your app will look on screen while you code. Yes, it actually shows a real-time preview. While we design these things, you actually can see how the app will be visible to us. And the next thing is, it can automatically translate your app into other languages. No, it doesn't translate our app into other languages. So this won't be the answer. The next question is, what does minimum SDK refer to in Android Studio project? So does it represent minimum amount storage, minimum number of devices, minimum download speed, or minimum version of Android? So the answer is minimum version of Android is referred to as SDK. The versions are referred to as Marshmallow, Oreo, Nougat, etc., etc. All right, these are the versions, and minimum SDK referred to that only. The fourth question is, what is the purpose of using a virtual device or emulator in Android Studio? So actually, its purpose is to test your app on a device without having the physical device. That's the purpose. The fifth question is, in Android Studio, what is a project template good for? So it's actually the answer should be, it makes getting started on building a new app faster. It actually provides it provides a structure that follows best practices. Yes, it actually provides a structure. It is the only way. No, it's not the only way. You can build from scratch also. It makes building a new app less error prone by pre-populating the project. Yes, this is actually the main point. It actually makes our code less error prone by pre-populating the project with some app code. So that's why we use the project template. All right. This is the last question. How do you create a new project? If you have a project already open, select file, new project, or in the welcome to Android Studio window, click a start a new project. So the option will be B and C. Both B and C are ways to create a new project. All right, this is the answer solutions to the pathway 2. Now let me go and discuss pathway 3. The pathway 3 is actually based on the birthday card app what we built last day. The birthday card app has just 2 text views and 1 image view. That application I'm talking about. So the first question is, which of the following element is considered view in Android app? Image, clickable button, text on the screen, all of the above. So yes, it is actually all of the above. All of them are represented as view in Android app. All right. Image is represented image view, button is represented as button only, and text is represented by text view. All right. Uh, the next thing is, what is the main purpose of a view group? So it's the main purpose is it groups together most common views. It serves as a container for view objects. The answer should be, it serves as a container for view objects. It actually it actually serves as a container. All right. Like the constraint layout or linear layout what we discussed last time. That's referred to as view groups. All right. The next thing, fill in the blanks, the type of view group that helps you arrange the views inside of it in a flexible way, and this is known as constraint layout. Constraint layout is that type of view group which actually helps us to arrange the views in a flexible way. And then next thing is, which of the following are attributes in Android? Text is an attribute, text size is an attribute, there isn't any text use, text color is an attribute, and there isn't any text content. All right. The fifth one is, in Android, a graphic that can be drawn to the screen is generally referred to as a drawable. It is actually referred to as drawable. Any pictures we want to insert there, we first insert into drawables, and then from the drawables we actually get the view for. We actually get the ID for it. Okay. And the last one is, which of the following is an example of a constraint that could be applied to a view in a constraint layout? All right. So yeah, a view that must always be to the right of another view, that's a constraint. A view that always must be topmost view with the container, that's a constraint. The seventh question is, what is the purpose of activemain.xml file? It actually describes the layouts of view groups and views. We design the screen in the activity-main.xml. And the last question is, why should you use string resources instead of hard-coded strings? So it actually allows you to reuse the same string in multiple places in the program, and also it allows you to use it makes your app easier to translate, because you have to provide the keys, and through those keys we can actually translate the application into multiple languages. So these are the answers for the pathway 3. Now let me quickly discuss pathway 4 also. So the first question is, which of the following is an example of class? A car class that has a make and model, yeah, that's a class. A flower class that has a scent, yeah, that is also. A puppy class that has breed, weight, and age, that is also an example of class. A shopping cart does a class that has a cart size and cart value, yeah, that's a class also. A song class that is lyrics. So everything are examples of class. All right. The next thing is, which is the difference between class and instance. So what I told is, class is a blueprint, and the actual thing is referred to as object, and object or instance. So first option is right. The next option is, class is like architectural plans for a bridge, and the Golden Gate Bridge is an instance. Yes, it's actually right. The class is serving as how to build the bridge, and that bridge is actually the object of the class. Okay. And you can create multiple instances from a class, but you can't create classes from instance. That's right. We can actually create objects from class itself, but not the other way around. The third question is, information about properties shared by all things. That is actually the definition of class. And the specifics about a property, such as the specific color of a thing that have a color, that is actually instance. All right. True or false? Every main activity class in Android must have a main function. It's false. And in Android we don't have a main function. In Kotlin we have that. The main function work is done through this activity launcher intent. Okay, that's you need not know, but there isn't a main function in main activity class. Now, which of the following is not a way to start a comment? Actually, this the first option is a way to do a comment. The second option is also is a way to do the comment. The third and fourth isn't. So these to be the answer. Now the sixth question is, which of the following statements about a conditional statement is true? So, and conditional statement is a way for you to set up a condition and ensure that code following it is only executed if the condition is met. Yes, that's right. This is actually the if-else statements they are talking about, conditional statement. The second is condition does not require any keyword. That's false. We have to it requires keywords like if, else, etc., bool, like true, false. Conditional statement should only be used with integers as input. No, we can actually use it with boolean also. Conditional statement can be used within functions. Yes, that's right. To return output based on conditions defined in the function. All right. The next question is, what is a good reason for you to add comments to your code? All of the above. It will be to explain to yourself and to others also, to structure code like chapter headings. So the answer should be all of the above. And the next question is, which of the following are Kotlin data types? Int range, num, int, boolean. So boolean, int range, int, these all are data types, and this num isn't actually. And the last question is, which of the following are valid keywords used in conditional statements in Kotlin? So valid keywords are if, else, and when. Okay, so these are all the answers for the pathway 4. So if you solved it previously and didn't get some, you might be getting it now. If you hadn't solved it yet, don't memorize these things. Okay, when you're going to apply for this quiz, be fresh and apply it yourself. If you get stuck, we'll be recording. We are recording this and we'll be uploading in the YouTube. You can always go back and check what's the answer of it. All right, but don't memorize it. That's what I'm saying. Well, because that's the main learning comes. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is, let me connect my mobile phone. Guna, can you see my mobile screen?
Yes, Anton.
Okay, great. So last day what we did is we actually built two applications. The first is this birthday card application, in which there is two text views are present and one image view is present, right? And the next thing we did is last day we actually built this dice roller application, in which you have to press on this button and a random number will get generated, and based on the random number between 1 to 6, this dice image will print out. So if I press this again, see 6 comes as, so 6, so dice 6 actually printed out, 2, 6, like this. What I'm going to do today is, I'm not going to teach you some new stuff. I'm actually going to take it a bit higher, and I'm actually going to show you how to build more applications like this. So first we're going to build this converter application, in which what it does is actually a USD to INR converter. Actually, I made this project to do on your own. So I'm launching a poll. Answer that. So if you did this or not. I don't think anyone did it, because nobody asked any doubt or something like that. Still, I'm launching a poll to get to know you much better. Wait a minute. Please go and answer it now. So you are saying, yeah, they did it. Now that's great actually for those who have completed it. Majority 85% didn't. So okay, no problem. We are going to do that right now in this session. Okay, and after this, so what's actually this about? So there you can see this enter USD price here, right? So in here you have to enter the amount. Let's suppose 10 I'm entering. Okay, I'm entering 10. After that, if you press on this convert option, see it comes as USD 10 and 700. What I did is I actually hard coded USD into 70 equal to INR. All right, so it actually shows how to make this how to solve this USD to INR problem. So we're going to make this app, and after this you will be taking a bit higher and actually we'll create this tip time app. What actually does it actually takes the input as a cost of the food you had. After that you have to select out of these three options one option, like amazing is 20%, good is 18%, and okay is 15%. All right, and after that it when you press on this calculate button, the tip amount will be calculated. So let's suppose if I'm entering the cost of service as 100, and if I'm selecting amazing, so 20% of 100 is 20, right? So tip you can see the TPAM1 generated is 20. If I'm clicking on good, it's actually come with 18, because 18% of 100 is 18. And if I click on OK, then it will be 15% of 100, that will be 15. All right. So what are the new things we'll be learning here? One thing is this radio buttons and radio group. Now, what are radio buttons? You obviously know this from the MCQ questions. When you select, we can actually select one of the following options, right? These are known as radio buttons. So today we're going to we will see just how to explore on our own the different widgets Android Studio offers us to help, and we'll be developing this app. And also apart from this radio button, we will also be seeing how to make this switch work. For the example should be, let me put a value like 95 and good, that's 18%. Okay. Now if I click on this calculate, uh, let it be 96. Okay. So when I'm selected on this button, round up tip, what it does is it actually rounds up. Now if I click on this calculate button, see the actual value is 19.20003. It actually shows the default double value, okay, without rounding up. Now if I select on this rounding up button, it actually rounds up to the next higher integer. That is the ceiling value. Okay, that's 20. So we are going to see how these all things work. So let's start developing it. So it will take a little bit time. You can take a break, short break of 2 minutes. Just wait for a bit. It takes a time to set up.
Also, guys, we wanted to ask a question that so we are learning Android now, but we can only really test if we understood or not if we build something right. So we were planning to organize an Android contest. Like you can on come up with your own ideas and build small Android projects. So we wanted to know if you will be interested in such a contest. So I'm creating a poll. Just let me know if you'll be interested for that Android contest. So it will basically be like a hackathon or of some sorts, where you can come up with your own ideas and build whatever you want. Okay, okay, great. So you guys are interested, so we'll look into it. I guess your exams are going to start, so we'll do something after your exams are done.
Okay, so 92% of 26 is a good result only. So let's get ahead and start building our applications. All right. So first, what we're going to build is we're going to build this. Just wait for a bit. So we are going to build this USD to INR converter app. Okay. So what are the basic elements of this application? At the top, you can see a image view. Okay, that's the image. The next, you can see this USD to INR converted text view. The next you can see this is a edit text. From edit text is what through which we can actually input values to it. All right. This actually is a text view, and the last is actually a button. So if you hadn't understood how to build the application in the last session, this is a very good time to actually revise it and get a grip on how to build applications and how to build this layout and how to functions at in the Kotlin code. All right. So just let's go ahead and build it. Making a It's making it a little zoom. All right. So first, there's a text view from default. I am deleting it. What you need at first, and it's actually included in a constraint layout, so it's good. What we need at first, we need a image view. Okay. So I'm clicking image view. The width of this wrap content. Wrap content means it will take the width, how much the width of that image is. Okay. The next is wrap content, the height. I'm providing ID to it. Mm, some random ID like image view display. All right. Then the main thing is you need to provide that image, right? So for that, what you need to do is you need to actually provide that image into the drawable. This application res drawable. You need to actually provide the image into this drawable folder. All right. So I will go and actually click this image. I will copy it, Control C, and then I will select this drawable option. Then I will just simply paste it, Control V. All right. It will ask me for in which directory I need to save it. It's actually a drawable folder, and after that, it will ask me about the it will ask me about the name of the image, and I will click OK. So you can see this image is inserted into our application. Now we can actually use this image into our application. All right. Now I will just put src and then at the rate drawable and this converter icon. So you can see this image is inserted into our application. All right. Now you can actually see this the height of it is really big. So let's change from layout height from wrap content to 200 dp. All right. So this looks pretty good. Okay. Now moving on to the main thing of any view is we need to constrain the view. Can you see this red marks over this image view? They are actually telling us that this view is not constrained. So what you need to do is you need to select this left. Wait. So now, yeah, I put the leftmost and the topmost and the leftmost. So this view is now constrained in both the directions. In this image view case, it's actually a bit hard to understand. When I will be constraining the next views, you will understand it better. Okay. So the next thing I have to insert is you need to actually paste this USD to INR converter text view, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I am declaring a text view. Yeah, the layout height should be wrap content. Height should be also wrap content. I need to actually insert the text, and the text should be USD to INR converter. You can see here. All right. Next should be the size of it. I am defining as it as 20 at SP. Text size are defined in SP, and rest all the sizes are defined in DP. All right. The next thing should be text style. It should be bold. Color should be for color. What I actually do is I actually first define hashtag 6f. All right, f. What it does it is actually the hexadecimal code for white. So after putting it, you can see that it's actually invisible here. You can see our color palette comes here, and from here I can actually choose any color I want. So this is how I do it. I'm selecting this red, and you can see actually this red is here. Now we need to actually constrain this layout. All right. So how to constrain it? I'm actually simply dragging and dropping it here. But dragging and dropping it doesn't allow us to constrain it. We need to for constraining, we need to say this left one. We need to say this right one. Wait. So it's centered, vertically centered, and we need to be the below of this. All right. So you need to select this and drag and drop it to this image. All right. Now you can say this view is constrained, but you can see that these two are stick together, right? So you need to apply a margin to it. So let's apply margin to it. Mm, I can see we have applied a margin to it. All right. So similar things we need to do with other things, like the next thing we need to insert is actually edit text, from where we can actually insert the text of it, insert the value of the thing we need to convert. This one, this is actually edit text. All right, this 10 field. So let's go ahead and define this edit text with wrap content, height wrap content. All right, the hint should be input USD amount here, so that to make people understand what this field actually does. All right, the thing we need to do is we need to actually have a ID to it, to give a ID to it. Let's say input edit view, edit text, because we are taking input to it. Now, what kind of input you should have? Actually, edit text have numerous type of inputs. All right, so we need to specify what kind of input type it's going to have. So yeah, actually you can see there are multiple types of input type, like number, decimal number, number, password, text, date time, etc., etc., etc. All right, what we're going to do is USD amount. It should be a number decimal, right? Like someone can input 10.20, 10.20, 20.3, like that. So we're going to use this number decimal. All right. The next thing is we need to constrain this below this one. So first we're going to drag it down, but this dragging won't help. We need to constrain it. So how to constrain it? We're actually going to select this one and make them both vertically start and end, to be vertical centered. And we have to need to select the top one and to click here itself, USD to INR converter, right? Now that's all right. And you can see these two are stick together, these two stick together. So we need to provide a margin top also. All right. The next thing is we need to actually have a text view where the output should be the displays for the output. The height should be wrap content, the width should be wrap content, the height should be wrap content. All right. The text, the default text should be you see it actually came here. So what we're going to do is we are going to drag and drop it down, and after that we need to constrain it. For that we need to select this one, the start one, the right one, and it should be below of this input text field, right? So we're going to select it like this. All right, let's provide an ID to it. Let's show the output text view, and then finally give a margin to it. So let's say 16 dp. All right, let's give some text size. 20 is pretty huge. 20 sp is right. Yeah, this is good. And we can actually provide a text color also. Let's provide blue. Let's try to provide blue. So what I first do is I provided white, and then I'm actually going to select this blue from this palette. Okay, so you can see this blue text view. And the next thing is for the button for the calculation. Okay, so wrap content here also. You can actually see the button here. The next thing is text for it should be calculate. And also, yeah, and let's now constrain it. So I'm actually dragging this here, and after that I have to constrain it. Dragging won't help actually when you're going to finally run the app. Okay, and constraining it to the top to this text view. Now I'm giving a margin to it also. Okay, so this is how the whole layout is generated, and it is actually the process we generate the layouts. We actually use a constraint layout. We actually drag and drop the view. We actually constrain it to with respect to each another, and this is the way it's done. Let's give this button a ID. Calculate button. Alright. So this is the way it's done. Now we have to write the code in Kotlin to actually interact with these views and do the stuff we want to do. For in this case is USD to INR conversion. So I'm going to share. I'm shifting to main activity.kt. Okay. So let me write the steps. What the steps we need to do. The first and foremost step should be defining the objects of the views. Right. The next step should be we have the button object. Using button object, uh, declare the method to click on it, to have a click listener. So when the button is clicked, this listener is generated, and the method and the code written inside it is called. Okay. Now, what are we going to do when the button is clicked? We need to calculate, right? So the next step should be calculation. Now, how to do this calculation actually? Step 3a. We need to first get the input. We need to first fetch the input of the used input. Okay. The next step should be we need to calculate INR from USD. And the last step after calculation is done, we need to show the output. We need to display the output into the text view. All right. So let's go ahead and do this step by step. Follow these things. So the first thing, we need to define the object of the views. So which of these views are most important? This image view, it actually don't have any functionality, so this is not important. This heading USD to INR converter, this actually doesn't have any importance because it doesn't have any job. This text field, this edit text field, yes, it actually have a job. This text view, it actually has a job, and this calculate button, it actually has a job, because we need to after clicking on this button, we need to read the input from this field, and we need to generate the output here. So let's define these three fields objects. All right. So let's see what's the ID given to it. So the edit text is given input edit text ID. So now how to define the objects? We need to start by val. The object name is input edit text. we are giving an object name. What this object is type about? This object is calling the class of edit text, right? It's actually a edit text class, and we are calling an object of it. So you'll be write edit text here. We are going to write that, and then we are going to initialize it. So what we are going to do is find view by id r dot id dot input edit text. What id will supply to here. All right. This is how we declare the object of this input field. Got it. The next thing we should display the declare the objects of the text view and the button, right? So the text view should be display view, val display view is actually of the format text view, and then we need to initialize it with the id, with the view id. So find view by id r dot id dot display image. Wait, I need to see what's name I have provided there. It's actually output text view. So you need to write output text view. All right. And the next thing is, the last thing is the button. So calculate button is actually type of button class, and then we're doing find view by id r dot id dot button calculate button. All right. So this is how we are defining the view, the objects of the views. Okay. Next, we need to use this calculate button and declare the method to have a click listener. So what we're going to do is calculate button. We are calling this object, and we are going to write dot set on click listener. I'm going to press tab to make this autocomplete. Okay, so this is done. So whenever we're going to click this button, anything we write inside this will be executed. Okay. So all these steps, all these calculation steps, we need to do inside of this button. Okay. So now the first thing is calculation. We need to first fetch the USD input. So it's actually in the input edit text field, right? So we need to fetch the input. How to fetch it? Let's write val input. It should be format string actually. Then we'll be use this input edit text field, this object dot text dot to string. What will actually do it will actually take the text inputted in the edit text field, and it will convert to the string, and it will be in this as it will be stored in this variable. So we got the input, and now we need this input to be in the format of double, right? To make the numeric calculation. So what we're going to do is val input in double. We will be taking this input field, and then we will convert into to double or null. You may say why null? Okay, so if you don't put any value to it, so it will take us null. So this value will take us null. Now we need to display the output. So first we are going to write if input in double equal to null, then you need to actually have a toast dot make text. I will, when run this application again, I will show what this toast is. Actually, toast is a small field which displays as a message. You can actually write that input field cannot be NP. Toast dot length short. It's actually the whole syntax of it. Don't need to learn or understand it. It's actually the syntax of it to how to display toast, and then you have to actually print out dot show. So anything inserted into this, like input field cannot be empty. This thing will get displayed in a small short notice message for 5 seconds or 2 seconds. All right. And if the it isn't null, then we need to calculate it. So for that, let's take val INR, sorry, USD equals to this input in double. All right. And now calculate INR from it. How to calculate from it? Take USD into 700 into 70. That's really simple. Okay. Now you need to display this value. Before displaying this, let's have a text for it. Val display text. This actually have to a type string because you need to print strings only. So we can actually display like INR equal to $INR. $INR. What this $INR does is $INR actually fetches and prints the value present in this variable. And this formal INR, it actually prints the value as a text only. So it will be like INR equal to 700. All right. And I'm putting a new line, USD equal to $USD. So it will actually have a string which actually displays this INR and USD in two different lines. And after that, we have this string. We can actually display it in the text view. So what's the text view object is? Display view. So display view dot text dot. You can actually set this text only, display text. All right. So this is the whole application for it. I will just go through it once. Step one is define the objects. We are defining the objects of the edit text, text view, and button. Okay. The step two is using the button object. Declare the method to have a click listener. So the method is calculate button the set on click listener. Inside it will be called every time we click on that button. And what this calculation is done, first we are actually taking the input in the from the text from the edit text field. So we are doing it by input edit text dot to string. After that, we are actually converting that string input to double or null. Null is done when but there isn't any input. All right. And after that, if there isn't any input, we actually show a toast message. Just search on online how the toast message is shown, and yeah, we have to print this line of messages. Input fields cannot be empty. Or else, if there is an input, we actually store the USD as the input only. INR is calculated by having USD into 770. We actually have a text string text. Display text is INR equal to the value calculated and USD equal to value calculated. And at the last, we actually display the value. All right. So this is the whole application of it, the whole code of the application, and it actually generates the application. Actually generates the USD to INR converter we saw beforehand. Okay. The next thing we are going to do today is this thing is little similar to last time only. In this, there is this edit text field. There is this radio text or radio group and radio button. All right. There's a switch here. There's a button, and then the final output is generated here. All right. So let me quickly show you how to make this project. It's really simple, and the more you will see and the more you actually build it, the more you will understand. That's it. So I'm just showing you in a bit. So let me just cut all this all the things we did for ESP to INR application, and also everything you wrote here. So again, it's complete scratch, right? Here you have first what you need to do. You need to have a text field, edit text field. to have a input. So let's first define the ID text, layout with wrap content, height wrap content. The text is cost of service. All right. That should be a size. I'm now going little first because I think you're familiar with these things already. Size should be 24 sp. That's good. After that, you need to actually position this layout. Okay, so how to position it? This left and this top. We did it. Let's put a padding to it. Let's make it be 16 dp, and also maybe a margin to it. So 16 dp. All right. So that's the first thing we do it. That's the first thing we got. That is cost size. Now we have to have this text view is how was the service. Actually skipping this for now. I need to show you how to make this radio button and radio fields. So what I actually do is you don't need to learn these things. Okay. What you need to do is just search in Google how to do radio button in Android. You will get a lots of tutorials, YouTube videos like this stuff. Like, let me just open the official documentation only. See, it's like that only, right? This is a horizontal, and what you're going to do is vertical, right? So what actually says is you have to create each radio button. You have to create a radio button in your layout. However, because radio buttons are mutually exclusive, you must group them together inside a radio group. So in this, you actually get the whole documentation how to use that. Like if I go a little down, you actually see and get the whole documentation. Okay, this is radio button, radio group. In this radio group, you have to provide the radio buttons. You have to define them, and after that, you need to use them in the Kotlin. So this is how you learn stuff. After the basic things are done, like those text view, button, edit text, and image view, there are plenty of other views and widgets like this radio button, radio group, check button, switch, etc., etc. What you need to do is you need to go through these documentations, any docs. If you are comfortable with videos, then you can go to YouTube and search for this, and you need to learn it. And by learning, you have to implement it. That's the real way of learning. So actually my main point was actually showing you how to learn and implement. This is the official documentation. You have to learn from here. You know to After learning it, you need to implement. So let me quickly go and implement it. So you need to have a radio button, right? A radio group first. So I'm defining this radio group. Similarly, we need a height and a weight. Okay. After that, it needs to have an orientation of how the value should be, how the button should be provided. Is it horizontal or vertical? So let me put orientation. I'm going to do it vertical. And after that, I'm actually going to close this one. Okay. Anything of any radio button we need to define inside it. All right. So let's define a radio button. Oh, sorry, radio button. And this should be the wrap content and wrap content. But the text it's have text should be first one is amazing, which means 20%. All right. What you need to do is we need to actually have a ID to all this. So let the ID to the radio group should be the radio group ID. Okay. This radio button of amazing, I am providing an ID like radio button amazing. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and do this 3 times. Okay. This is radio, but first one is radio button amazing. The next is radio button great. The third one is radio button good. I'm providing the ID to this, and let's change the text accordingly. The second one is radio button. The text is great, 18%. and the last one is good 15%. You can see actually all of these things came here. All right, now you need to actually constrain this one. Just wait a minute. Okay, after dragging and dropping, we need to actually select that. Some problem did happen. Wait. You need to constrain it. I am constraining it from here itself. Okay. So constraint start to start of not the parent. I'm going to do its respect to this cost of service. So that's the ID is ID. There is an ID to it. So let me provide ID to the edit text first. To bottom of. Right, now everything is as position as there should be. Cost of service, and in the bottom there is these three radio buttons: amazing 20%, great 18%, good 15%. Once you play along with these XML fields, you will actually get clear. You will actually will be cleared on how to make this and build this layouts and positioning all this stuff. All right, so just practice it and on your own. It will be clear by then. And the next thing should be, as in the picture, there should be this roundup tip button, right? So what is this? It's actually a switch. So let me define a switch here. Same, you can go to internet and run how to write a switch, the properties for it, and that's how you will actually run it. Okay. So the width should be wrap content. That's the height should be match parent. All right. The next thing we need to actually put the text of the switch. So let the text should be roundup. Okay. Oh, there's one problem. This height should be actually wrap content. You can see this one, right? And this width actually match parent. Now for to in the constraint layout, instead of match parent, we actually provide 0 dp. For setting that, we it should take the whole size. Now let's actually position this constraint this one, and this top one should be at below this. Okay. So now you're getting the sense now how to constrain the positions with respect to each other. So I have constrained this to left, to the right, and to this one, to the bottom of this one. It's all sticked up together. So let me do one thing. Let me provide margin to all of them. So for the radio group, I'm providing a margin of 16 dp, and also to this switch, margin. Okay, and also by default it should be checked or checked not checked. So we're defining a ID to it: checked, true or false. If I'm doing true, you can see this is actually done. It's actually on, right? It's in the on position. I can actually provide the color to it. No, actually I can't provide that color. Okay, so after this all things, the next thing should be a button. I think that's pretty much clear to you by now. Wrap content. I'm having text like calculate. Okay, and then we need to actually just have an ID to it. Also, let's give an ID to the switch, roundup switch. Okay, and this button is not constrained, so let me first drag and drop, and let me just constrain it to the right, to the left, so these things are centered, and constrain to this one also. Okay, now they are stick together, so let's apply a margin to it, and after that you can see that the layout is forming like this time. All right, one thing, here you can see the button is up to this width only, but here it's actually taking the full space. Why it's so? Because I have provided here wrap content instead of match parent. So if I want to provide if I provide match constraint here, match parent here, sorry, not the height, the width, if I provide match parent here, it will take the full space. All right, and for the last thing, we need to actually show a text view to it. So let's show a text view like wrap content. This the ID should be display calculated value. Okay, and then last thing should be text to it should be like calculated values displayed here. Okay. After that, we need to actually constrain this one also. So I'm dragging and dropping, and then you need to constrain this to the right, to the left, and also to the top, to this below of this button. Okay, button, and let's have a margin to it. Similar things as beforehand, and after the margin, let's increase the text size also. Okay, so the layout is almost done, and it's actually like this one only, except for the colors and all. We can leave that for now. Okay, and now how to actually use that in our project. So like previously, what we did previously, and so we're going to do this. We're going to do it here also. First, step one: define the text objects of the views. Step two should be define the button clickable click option, and then rest thing should be based on calculation. Let's worry about calculation a little bit later. Let's first define the objects of the views which are important to us, and also the button click, right? So first, what should be the options? First should be this val. There's this text, edit text, right? So cost of service, edit text. It's actually type of edit text. Now make this find view by ID r.id.edit text, cost service edit text, right? The next thing we should define is about the radio group. Okay, so radio group is actually the type radio group. So I have inserted radio group ID, the ID given to it. The next thing should be the switch, the ID of the switch. So let's say the switch object, it should be of the type switch. on the switch. All right. The last thing we should define here is the button. So defining of the type button, and now initializing the video view by matching that regular button. Okay, and for displaying it, we need to define another object of the text view where the calculated image, calculated result is displayed. I'm giving a name display of the type text view. Display view, display calculated value. Okay, so all the views are defined. Now what we need to do is we need to define the button click. So we are going to click right button object, that button dot set on click listener. All right. Now anything when we click when we are clicking this button, anything we write inside it, this thing will get executed. And what you need to do, you need to calculate, right? So this step 3 calculation should go inside it. Okay. Now how this calculation is done? So step 3a, the first thing we need to do is we need to get the value of the ID, value of the edit text, right? Step 3b is we need to get which option is selected in the radio group. Step 3c is we need to check the switch is on switch is on or off. All right. And after doing all this, step 3d should be calculation and display on the edit text on the text view. Cool. So let's go step one by one. Step 3, we need to get the value of the edit text. So as we did previously, val string in text field. Let's give the name should be input in string. All right. So the edit text is this cost of service edit text. We're copying this object, and then we will be calling text dot toString. So what it will do is it will actually take the text in that edit text view, and it will actually convert it to string and store in this variable. All right, we got the string, and after that we need to convert this string value to double. So input cost in double. Now what we're going to do is input in string dot to double or null. Okay, clear. As we did in the last application, similar steps we are performing here also. Okay, now you know if this input cost is null, equal to null, you need to show a toast to it to the user, so that to make them understand that there is no value to be calculated, and the user need to input a value. So in the input field is empty. Okay, post dot make text. Sorry, dot the length short dot show. This is actually the syntax of it. No need to learn it. Upon using it, you will actually understand how to use it. And else, if there is there is an input to it, let's go and do the stuff inside that only. Okay. So the first thing is we need to get which option is selected. Now how to do this? So we have this radio group option, right? Radio group object. Using that, we need to check which ID is selected. So for that, I'm actually doing this val tip option, tip percentage. Let me first write and I will explain. Okay. So val tip percentage equal to when this radio group dot check radio button ID. Okay. So what it does is it actually opens a leave it like this. Let me do it in a if else format to so that you understand it in better way. So tip percentage I am doing by default is 15. Okay, it's 0.15. Okay, now I'm writing here if radio group dot check button ID equal to r dot id dot amazing radio button amazing. Okay, so if this button is selected, then this condition will turn as true. So then tip percentage will be 0.20. That's 20%. Okay, you have to make this val is no longer val. Okay, now else if radio group dot check radio button id equal to r dot id dot radio button it should be great. Then tip percentage equal to 0.15 and 0.18, and else there should be another option percentage equal to 0.15. All right, so we got which button is selected, and based on that we are doing this. Okay, the next thing we need to check the switch is on or off. For that what we're going to do is we need to check if this switch object, we need to use this, and we need to check this if switch but is checked. So if it is checked, this thing will come as true, or else it will come as false. So we need to do here itself. Before this, we need to calculate the value. How to calculate that? We need to take this value, cost calculated equals tip percentage multiplied by this cost in the input cost. Okay, now this will be in the format of double, but if the switch is checked, now that means we need to actually round it off. Now how to do that? We can actually write it cost calculated equal to kotlin dot math dot still. It's actually the syntax of it, and before taking this lecture I saw the syntax of it, so don't need to worry how this thing is formed. Just Google it and you can actually check how this ceiling and how the other mathematical function is done in Kotlin. And then I need to pass this parameter to it. So what it does is it actually takes this input, it actually generates the ceiling value of it, and it's and the result is stored in here. And this thing cannot be no longer can be val, it should be var now. Okay, now after this all this calculation every stuff is done, we need to use this this calculation is done itself. We need to display this thing on the text view. So the text view is display button dot text equal to cost calculated, but it's in the format of double, right? We need to convert this to string. So what are you going to do? To string. So display dot text, we are to taking this variable cost calculated, we are converting it to string, and then putting the value and displaying it. All right, so this is the whole code of this application, tip calculator. I'm repeating the steps. Step 1 is define the object of the views. We have defined the objects of edit text, radio group, switch, button, text view. The step 2 is define the button click option, that button dot set on click listener. Inside it, we need to do the calculation stuff. The first step is we need to get the value of the edit text. All right. So we are taking this input in string. The input after taking it in string, we need to convert it to double or null. If there isn't any value present, then it will get in the null, and then this toast message is shown to the user. And if there is a value present, then in this else condition comes, and we can actually now calculate it. For calculation, we are getting which radio button is selected. Okay, so it's amazing, then the t% is 0.2. It's great, then it's 0.8, or else the option is good, that's 0.515. All right, now cost calculator is double of t% into input cost. Okay, the next thing is switch checked or not. If it's checked, that means we need to round up. We need to find the ceiling value. So we're passing it to the ceiling function, and we're taking that value. And after all this calculation is done, we need to display on the text view. So we actually take this variable, convert it into string to string, and we actually display it in the variable and display in the text view. Okay. So this can be a little confusing at first. Just to go through this video once more. Perform this application on your own, then it will be more clear to you. Before ending the session, I want to show something. Right, wait. So this is the course, right? In this course, unit 1 is done. This unit 2, in unit 2 there are two parts. The first part is actually making this only. Okay, get user input in an app, and the next part is display a scrollable list. Now, what a scrollable list is, I'm actually taking this WhatsApp example. Just a minute. So actually my job is to make you go through the basics, and all the basics things we covered, like how to take inputs, how to display, how to modify the inputs, how to display it on the application. Now if you want to be a serious Android developer, you need to learn quite a few things, and I will just give you a brief walkthrough of what are the major things one should learn in Android development. Okay, the first thing is displaying a scrollable list. Now what is a scrollable list? We all use WhatsApp, right? It's a dummy WhatsApp layout in which every contact, we actually create this contact layout once, and then we actually populate this view in a list, either in a list view or a recycler view. Okay, so this is done through a scrollable list. So you can actually follow this code labs and pathways to get how to define a scrollable list, how to use it in our application, how to design it, etc, etc. This is the first major thing you should do. The next thing is this navigations, this activities and fragments. Okay, so what is the activities? Now in this application, when you click on a contact, there's another screen appears. Okay, where you actually write the messages and it goes to another user, right? That is known to as that is actually another screen, and these screens are referred to as activities. Till now what we have done, we did it in a single activity. In this we are actually doing in a multiple activity. Okay, so these things actually helps you understand navigation between screens and intuition navigation component, how to make multiple screens, how to connect between the screens, how to animate between these transitions. All right, so you will get to learn about these things there. Okay, and another advanced navigation app another things is this chat, status and calls. These all things are done in a single screen. Okay, so it is actually a subscreen, a screen on screen. These things are done in fragment. So the next major thing after scrollable list is you need to understand what are activities and fragments, how to define those, how to navigate between the different activities and fragments. All right. So this is the another thing. The next major thing I need to want to discuss is, I have told you another course, right? It's actually the advanced course. Let me just open it once. In advanced course, there are two units. This unit 1 is more or less those stuff we did in previously. Okay, in this unit 2 there are multiple things. The first thing is architecture components. In architecture components, it actually specifies how to actually effectively write a code and to separate the UI logic code and the business logic code. So it's more about how to write the code in the industry language. Okay. The next thing is databases and recycler view. How to use databases. Now, what are databases? So you can say when you're shutting down our network connection, we can still access the chats in the WhatsApp, right? Now, how does it done? So what WhatsApp does it actually cache the data, whatever is present, and it actually stores it in our local device. It's actually done through in a database. Now, how to define this database? It's actually a format of SQL database. How to define this database, how to interact with this database, how to read value from the database, all you'll be going to learn in this databases section. So this is a very major vast section. Okay. The next thing and last thing I want to tell is connection to the internet. So again, the example of WhatsApp, you need to send messages to some other person, right? So for that, you need to have a connection to a backend server. So how you need to do this connection is through some libraries and through some server codes. uh, there can be two things. One, you can define your own server. Two, you can actually use a server side console, which is known as Firebase. Google actually provides a variety of things through which Android connections different between the different mobiles are done can be done easily. So I'm actually opening a existing project of mine. So you can actually see here there are multiple things like Firestore, database, storage, functions, etc., etc. Okay, let me show you this database thing. So what it actually does it in this server side in this Firebase, you can actually interact Firebase with our application. So anything, if you want to send data to another users, we actually first send this data into this Firebase, store this into this Firebase database. Okay, it is not local database; it's Firebase database, and then we can read this data from any other device. So what doing is we are sending data to other devices. So these are very major stuff we learn from it. So you can learn from here also. And next are the other things like design for designing stuffs. So these are the few major things you need to do if you want to be a serious Android developer. And I think it will take it actually depends on the time and your flow. It can actually take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year even also. Okay, so this that is all for this Android study jams. Okay, so if you're having any doubt, you can write in the chat box, we can take that also. So I hope that you have learned quite a bit from the sessions. So thank you. You can leave this. The session is over. You can leave now. So yeah, you can leave if you want to. The session is over. Take care.